Hey, hello. This is Natural Fitness Lifestyle. I'm all about having fitness, creating fitness, making your body stronger, more efficient, using natural methods. Natural methods. Why am I putting my fist like this? Because this is just a sign of strength of the grip. When I always try to express with my hands, because there is an old saying that the lifespan of a man depends on the strength of his grip, his strength of his hands. I'm a firm believer in strengthening your hands through various methods of gripping exercises because there are many. You may go to like an advertisement section in an exercise magazine, and you can typically see gadgets that are supposed to strengthen your grip, like the hand grips. But gripping exercises should be practical, should be able to strengthen your grip for activities that you do in everyday life. What are those? Simply carrying things with your hand, one. You know, not grasp how you grasp something will determine how strong your hands are and which sections of your hands you are strengthening. You grip something with your fingertips alone, of course, you will be strengthening all the muscles that are attached to your fingers. If you grip something inside the palm of your hands, now you're centering more tension on the muscles in the palms of your hands and closer to the forearms. Yes, it's very important the technique you use in your gripping exercise. But let's talk about you. What are your fitness goals? I'm here today for a Q&A, 2%, a Q&A, which is a question and answer session. I encourage all viewers to ask questions, and I will try my hardest and my best to supply your answers on nutrition and exercise and fitness. If you don't see this live, you can always go to the post stream on my channel and you can enter your question there, and I will gladly answer any of your questions. So, are your questions on exercise? Are your questions on any particular or specific exercise? Be it a squat, a deadlift, a curl? How much can you curl in relation to your body weight? The standard used to be 40 pounds underneath your body weight. So if you weigh 200, you're expected to curl 160 pounds in order to be considered having strong arms. 40 pounds underneath your body weight. Does, does that sound excessive to you? Well, if it does, then maybe perhaps you've given in to the present day standards. What are the present day standards? What are the present day standards for strength in each exercise? For example, like the bench press. Well, that today, these days, varies so much because everyone has changed how you perform an exercise. Take the curl, for example. The curl, many consider a curl now allowing slight cheating. They consider that a curl. In the old days, it was no. The movement of the arms, the curl being defined as a curl from the elbow joint, not from the shoulders, not from the spine, not from the hips, not even from the wrist, from the elbows, elbow flexion. Very simple. That's the definition of a curl. So now, if you want to, you know, have a see what a curling test is, you could see different methods used. And there's so many different methods. But let's take the bench press, for example. Do you arch your back? Do you utilize the strength of your hips and legs to drive the bar up? Because, yes, that makes a huge difference in the leverage, in how you apply and resist gravity. Apply strength and resist gravity. Where do you lower the bar? To your nipple level or down here below your rib cage? Because I've seen people do it. Powerlifting technique. So what is proper exercise technique? Depends on your goals. You want to just have the best mechanical technique to lift heaviest weight possible, then you have an open mind and many techniques can be applied. But if your goal is to develop the chest, then specific mechanics come into play. Specific joint mechanics specifically come into play with the chest. But I don't see anyone here asking me questions. But like I said, you can go to this live stream on my channel. It will still be available post-stream. And you can enter your questions. You can go to this video, you go to the live section of my channel and post questions on the video. So I'm going to show you an example of joint mechanics for your pectorals, specifically for the bench press. Okay. You see, many people arch their backs, take a very wide grip, and lower to here. Of course, that's going to shorten the range. Two things. It's going to shorten the range of the elbow extension and shorten the range of the shoulder flexion here. But if your goal is to develop the chest, you want arm adduction, which means the arms coming together. Shortening keeping the bar out here, it's not going to get you a lot of chest development. It's not. Keep lowering the bar above the nipple to the nipple level. Will involve more arm adduction, which it means bringing the arms together, which will contract the chest. If you lower the bar below the nipple level, look, where's the contraction of the chest? Lower the bar to the nipple level, notice the contraction of the pectoral muscles. So if your goal is to develop your pecs, why would you use a powerlifting technique of lowering the bar below your nipple level? You have to ask yourself these questions. Take a lateral. You want to keep it below the shoulder level because you're creating shoulder impingement. You want to work the medial deltoid, which helps elevate the arm. It doesn't help elevate the shoulder to the neck. It only helps elevate the upper arm. So this should be the highest point you perform a lateral, not up here, below parallel to the ground, right there. And you should keep your elbow bent. This is arm abduction, which means moving the arm away from the body. That is the function of the medial delt here. Now you see a lot of people advise to turn the hand down, but that will impinge the shoulder and place tremendous stress on the infraspinatus. Infraspinatus is the muscle that externally rotates, and it's proportionally much weaker than the medial delt. So why would you turn your arm down and shift the tension to a muscle that is much, much weaker then the intended target, that is the medial delt. You want to keep the arm parallel, the forearm parallel, the arm parallel, the forearm perpendicular, in line with the upper arm at all times. Why? Because then you're using the proper leverage for the medial delt, which is the shortest line between 2 points. It's the strongest. So if you're doing this, you're creating an arc, much greater distance for your arm to move. You want to keep it shorter. If you look at a line, here a line, you draw a line from your waist. That's called the vertex. It's a very fancy word for the distance between two joints here when you perform an exercise, right? So if you're doing this, notice now it becomes greater. You placing much more tension on the shoulder joint. You're forcing the joint to work at a greater range, which places the tension on the joint and away from the muscle. The proper way, or the best way, to apply the most strength in the medial deltoid raise to keep the movement shorter. It also applies more tension to the medial delt. It applies continuous tension to the medial delt. Look at the abdominals. Do abdominals work with cervical flexion? Do they work with shoulder flexion? Shoulder flexion and cervical flexion are two of the biggest errors performed inside of abdominal exercises. One of the biggest, most promoted so-called abdominal exercises is the sit-up. And you see people pulling with their neck, pulling with their shoulders. Let me tell you, when I first started, I wasn't aware of proper body mechanics. Do you know how I got this neck like this strong? Yeah, doing sit-ups and crunches. Yeah, because I didn't know any better. I was just exercising my neck, and it got bigger. My abdominals weren't getting any stronger, maybe a slight amount stronger. They certainly weren't getting defined like they are now. When I learned how to work my abdominals properly, keeping the movement here at the rib cage, statically contracting them, statically maintaining a strong contraction. When you cough, when you perform any rigorous activity, your abdominals must maintain a static contraction, a vigorous static contraction. That comes from the movement of the rib cage, compressing the rib cage. Anyway, I covered like 3 muscle groups of the body: the deltoid, the pectorals, and the abdominals, and the biceps. I touched upon the biceps initially. But if you have any questions on exercise, on the biomechanics, on the proper positioning to apply the proper leverage and therefore get the most results from your muscles, please put in a question. All you have to do is reach here in the chat box. Look, when you reach for the chat box, you are exercising your muscles. So please feel free to do so. I must go right now. But like I said, you can ask me any questions post live stream. So you guys have a great afternoon, and don't forget to check out my playlist where you see heroic moments of my competitive bodybuilding days. Also, where you will see me perform advanced exercises. When I was working out in my heyday, where I had my greatest strength and greatest muscularity, which wasn't that long ago. We are talking about 2008, 2009. So have a great afternoon and have a great week. Have a great week.